What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Scale News Update. If you're not familiar with the show, this is where we talk about the news topics that happened in the scale world of RC over the past week. If you enjoy the Scale News Update, hit the like button. Jump into this week's topics. First for this week, Vanquish released their newest kit. This is the VRD Carbon. The VRD is the new platform and the Carbon is the builder's kit. Comes equipped with carbon fiber LCG style frame rails, a super light version of the VFD transmission, Portal F10 axles, servo on axle mount, 4-link front suspension. It comes as a builder's kit, so no body, wheels, tires, or electronics are included. It also includes some heavy metal front portal knuckle covers right in the box to give you a little bit more forward weight bias. The 90mm shocks include the hard anodized body. That lightweight spec of the VFD has got the lightened machined gear set inside of the transmission, so it cuts a ton of weight out of that transmission, keeping everything nice and light, but still giving you that forward motor mount. It gives you 21% overdrive in the transmission, and with the gears and the portal axles, you get 37% total overdrive in this kit. The price of the VRD Carbon is $429. They went on sale last Tuesday, and they did sell out really quickly. They will be back in stock before too long though, so if you're interested in picking one of those up, I'll link to where you can find all the details about them, and if you'd like to get one on order, go check with your local dealer. Next, Team Associated released a version of the RC10 called the Crystal Clear version. This is old school RC10, and the parts have been molded in a polycarbonate or similar material depending on where it's at, I suppose. But this is a collector's item type thing. I don't know that you're even able to buy the individual parts in case you wanted to run it and possibly broke something. I think that it's really just a display item to look like a prototype version that they possibly had sometime back in the day when they were working on this. I know that there's more backstory to go along with it, but if you're a collector, you're a vintage fan, it was your first RC, whatever it is, and you just want to have a cool version of it, these are going to be available. Again, I think this is like a collector's version, so I imagine that means it's also going to be limited. I know that they did a re-release of the Gold Pan a couple of years ago, so this has to fall in line with that somewhere. So if you're interested, jump in line as soon as possible. And the next thing teased by Team Associated is something that they're showing off at their SEMA booth this weekend, and that is a new 1/7 scale on-road offering based on the Hoonicorn. The 1/7 scale market at this point is dominated by ARRMA. The infraction, the felony, the limitless, those dominate that scene. There are other cars that fall in line with them, but not a ton. And now Associated is going to throw their hat in the ring for that. The Hoonicorn body is what ARRMA was trying to do with the felony. I think that that's pretty clear. And I think that Associated did a much better job in that area. They have the Hoonicorn licensing. It's photographed next to the 1/14th scale version that they make already. So I really love the 1/7 scale platforms from ARRMA. Hopefully this one from Associated falls in line there and is of an equal quality. It'd be interesting to see if this is an in-house all original design from Associated, or if this is going to be a sourced project from somebody like ZD Racing or one of those brands who have platforms that are very similar to the ARRMA available overseas already. So at this point, they haven't showed anything other than the body on version. They say you can go check it out at SEMA. Hopefully we see more information after SEMA, or soon after, I should say, and maybe we can find out exactly what they've got going on underneath of that really good looking body shell. On the opposite side of the spectrum, WPL is opening the pre-order for the C74, that Suzuki Jimny hard body that they're releasing, fully licensed by Suzuki. And it's just a cute little WPL. You know, they're small scale, they're tiny, they're not crazy durable, they're barely considered hobby grade, maybe. But they're fun in their own way, and they're cheap typically. So the pre-order is opening at basically midnight East Coast time the day that this video went up. So it's already open. You can go pre-order now if you're looking for one of these little licensed Jimnys. All the specs listed on the pre-order page as well. I'll put a link to where that pre-order is going to be. If you're interested, you know how to order things on the internet. Scale Metal Supplies has a bunch of new parts for those of you that are fabricators or you want to be fabricators. If you've never been over the Scale Metal Supplies site, he makes a ton of just parts that make fabricating a little bit less of a headache. He just released these new VS410 slider mounts. They bolt to the slider base and just give you a super easy platform to build your own custom slider to the outside of that. Takes away a lot of headache. This is stuff that if you've maybe never built before, or even if you're seasoned and you just don't want to waste a bunch of time making your own tabs and things like that, this stuff is a time saver that is absolutely worth it. He also released some body panel tabs recently. Puts 2 body panel, attachment points basically on a small tree that you can tack weld or braze onto your tube work to make mounting body panels easier. Highly recommend. Definitely worth checking it out. You can jump over to the Scale Metal Supplies website and see what he's got to offer. I'll put a link below. Reefs RC has decided to triple down on the brass servo world. They had the Raw 500 brass version that we saw in July for the first time, and now we've got 2 more offerings. We have the Comp 300, the IS 300 internal spool winch Comp edition, now also available in the brass case, as well as the 800 LP, the super powerful low profile servo. Perfect for your, BTA servo type application, if there is such a thing as a perfect application for a brass servo. Either way, they look super sweet. If you just love fancy things, you can't say you own it all until you've bought these. Then we've got this one from FRSky. Now, FRSky takes and modifies FMS vehicles, and they modified the 18 scale van into this Hello Kitty van. If vans, you thought a plain white van would be the creepiest version of a van you could offer, you were wrong. You missed an obvious choice. I feel like you should have to explain why you're buying this when you're checking out. I know that Hello Kitty is super popular, especially in other parts of the world. Obviously, targeting the 40-year-old guy with no kids is not probably the market, but if you buy one, please put below why. Hell may have just frozen over because Tamiya has released another new platform, and they're going to put it out with a Mark IV Supra, arguably the best Supra ever made. It's ready for all of the Fast and Furious builds. I want the version when it was on the rollback, just toasted. That's the one that I want done up. Matt, if you could get that painted for me, that'd be great. But this Supra is coming on the new BT01 chassis, on-road style sized chassis, and it looks like, from what the details say and what people are saying on like Tamiya Club, things like that, it looks like it can be rear-wheel drive or front-wheel drive with this platform. I don't think that they said it could be all-wheel drive, but maybe I'm wrong. Either way, the chassis looks significantly complicated, as any Tamiya should, as you would expect, but love seeing a new platform from Tamiya, and gotta love a Supra. Way back when, we talked about a traction hobby Raptor that was supposed to be coming out, and their website, social media, said that it was going to be coming out in June. And I feel like something maybe got out, but they're now putting out release information or release videos finally. Traction hobbies is always a hard one to really nail down. I don't know if it's just the media that finds its way to the US side or what, but they finally put out a video and some photos of this thing in action, and it looks fantastic. It really does. It's got Ford and Raptor right on it. They use Ford in the video, so I assume that this is officially licensed. It looks very scale. It doesn't look wildly capable, as you kind of would expect for something that's targeted at this. It's still labeled as a 1/8 model. The video that they had, mainly slow, they were doing some rock crawling, and of course, like you would expect, there's blinkers on the whole time, just left blinker, right blinker. Got to get rid of that. Nobody needs blinkers. I live in California. No one uses them anywhere here. So I don't know. This thing, it does look it just looks great. It's not necessarily the type of running that I do, but if it was, this would definitely be one that I'd be interested in. You guys will have to let me know if you've ever had anything from Traction Hobbies and what part of the world you're in. Whether you brought it into the US or it's more widely available at stores and distributors wherever you may be. Next, we've got a new release of a 1/18th little crawler thing. And this wouldn't necessarily be that much of a surprise or even a story if it was just another brand I'd never heard of, but this is actually coming from FRSky, not FlySky, which you may be more familiar with in the ground market, but FRSky is super popular in the flying world and, you know, construction equipment. They've got a number of different types of products, lots in there, but you don't see them as much in the ground market. And they don't have any vehicles until now with this 1/18th scale little crawler. It's made after like the style of a Chinese armored vehicle that's actually available. And I believe that there's also an actual civilian version and that they've made the model of. It's an interesting car. The design of it looks, I haven't seen this anywhere else to think that it's just a rebrand, but just the design of it in general is pretty good. It does have independent suspension all the way around. It's got portal axles though, so little portal boxes at the ends of that independent suspension. However, it doesn't really take full advantage of the portal for like the clearance side of things, because the A-arms still go all the way to the bottom. There was a number of things that are pretty interesting. I also can't find the information for this on any of FlySky's sites. I've only found it available on release pages from overseas, like Chinese news sites. It was just real interesting to see FRSky get into the ground market with this vehicle in this way. I'll be interested to see what else they do, if anything else comes of it, just because, you know, they do make some nice radios. For those of you that picked up the Eric Miller Ultra 4 style vehicle from RC 4-wheel drive, they just released some aluminum knuckles and C-hubs for that vehicle. So if you want to beef up that front axle, here's a good place to start with some parts that are becoming available for that. They've added these both to the website. I'll put a link to those below. And then on the ultra small scale side of things, Turbo Racing came out with this 1/76th scale tractor trailer. Look, I mean, freaking tiny. It comes with a 10-channel radio. So a 10-channel radio, I believe it's got proportional steering. In the video, it says a 3-speed, and I'm not sure if that means that, I can't imagine that it means an actual 3-speed, or if it's like electronically controlled, or maybe it's not proportional. Maybe it's just 3 set speeds. I don't know, but it looks good. Cab over style, you know, Euro truck, but an actual trailer with a little container on it. The container is removable. You can run it with a flatbed style trailer. Here's a triple axle on that. It just looks fun. I mean, the year of trailers is not will not end. We now have this little trailer if you feel like trying to, it's a stick radio too. So the backup challenge on your desk with the stick radio, I have no reason for it, but I'll have to own it. And for any of you who have been building like the old school style Land Cruiser or Land Rovers, whichever one they are, Boom Racing has released a new 1.9. This is the Trophy Classic. This is a small tire, 3.8 inch tall, old school style tread, and it's coming in their Gecko compound. So this is a period correct type tire. If you've got a build for it, you probably know it, and you probably are going to be all over this option. So you can check that out, Boom Racing. I'll link to where you can find it on their website. Don't forget this Wednesday, second to last week of the 4 Dice Budget Build Off with Matt from the Scale Builders Guild and myself. Just one spin of the wheel left after this week. So if you'd like to see how that goes, come check Livestream Takeover every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. See if I can be absolutely hammered by this wheel 8 weeks in a row. Also, just before I started filming this, Proline teased that they've got a new body coming for the UDR, a little Chevy pre-runner. Real close-up view of it, so we can't see much, but you can tell it's a UDR by the way that the front bumpers are poking through. So if you're a UDR owner and you want a new style to it, Proline's gonna have something for you here soon. More details will follow shortly, I'm sure. I was just thinking how it'd been a while since we had a Proline story. Starting to wonder. But that's going to do it for this week's news questions. I asked you a bunch of questions during the video, so no question at the end here. Hope you have an awesome rest of your week. Hope you had a good weekend. If you enjoy this Scale News update, hit the like button. Subscribe if you're not already. Hit the notification bell so you see the videos as soon as they get uploaded. As always, thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.